many times have you thought, I wish I could play an instrument, or I wish I was good at music? I'm sure many of you have had this happen over the years. I don't know how many times I've had friends ask me, can you teach me how to play that? Well, today I'm going to teach you how to play that. For starters, we need to learn first how to stand with good posture. Today we're going to learn how to play the flute, and so in order to have good posture for flute playing, you want to play standing up. You want to stand at an angle, generally about 45 degrees, so that when you turn holding the flute, you are turned with an open posture, which allows you to breathe easily. Before we can get too far, we have to go through all of the different parts of a flute. This is the head joint. You can tell the head joint because it has a hole and a spot for your lips to go. You can actually play 3 different notes on your head joint. But I'm only going to show you 2 right now. The head joint is very important because this is where all of the air passes into the rest of the flute. The next part of the flute is the body. This is the part that has all of the keys. I will show you how your hands go when we have the whole flute put together, but it is important to remember that this is the body. Finally, we have the foot joint. This is the part that goes at the end of the flute. It doesn't have as many keys because you only play it with 1 finger. To put the flute together, you have to have all 3 pieces. Your head joint is going to go into the long end of your body. There's a specific section, and you can tell it because there's a short connector and a long connector. You want to put your head joint together in a way with the body that your mouth hole, your lip hole, lines up with your first keys. That's for ease and comfort when you're playing, so that your fingers and your wrists aren't too bent. The bottom part, the part with the short end, is where the head joint goes. In order to properly connect is where the foot joint goes. In order to properly connect the foot joint, you need to make sure that the main bar of the foot joint lines up with the middle part of your keyboard. Now, in order to play the flute properly, you'll have to know how to put your fingers. As you can see, there are a lot of keys, and I don't think anybody has that many fingers. This first step is to get your right hand, or your left hand, correct. You want to put your thumb right here so that it can easily slide over the keys. See how there are 2 keys? Your thumb is going to go on the big one. Next, you're going to skip 1 key and place your finger right here. On most flutes, this key is actually going to be larger because this key is hardly ever pressed. Then you're going to skip another key to place your second finger. See how it goes key, finger, key, finger? This finger goes directly in the next spot. On my flute, it's really easy to tell because there are holes, but on a beginner flute, there won't be any holes. So you'll need to remember, skip a key, place a finger, skip a key, place a finger. Do not skip a key. The pinky one is really easy because there's a specific key that looks exactly like where your pinky should go. That is how you place your left hand on the flute. Remember, the thumb goes on the large key underneath. Then you skip a key, you place a finger, you skip a key, you place a finger, and then you do the next 2 keys after that. In order to place your right hand, it's a lot easier. First of all, you skip 1, 2 keys right here. Those keys don't need fingers because they are pressed or moved by other keys on the flute. Then, for your right hand, you simply place 1, 2, 3, and again, a special key for your pinky. Your pinky is going to control all of the keys on the foot joint, but don't worry, they've put them all close together so that it's really easy. Let's check this out again. For your left hand, you place the thumb, 1, 2, 3, pinky, and on the right hand, you place 1, 2, 3, pinky. That's how you hold the flute. Now, do you remember our posture part that we spoke about earlier? You're going to want to stand at a 45-degree angle so that when you hold the flute up, your body is open and you still have plenty of room to breathe. The lip plate, this gold piece right here, is going to go on your chin. The easiest way to place it properly so that you can blow the hole and get the noise is to start with the hole in the middle of your mouth and then roll it out onto your chin. This gets proper placement so that you can play notes. Now, the hardest part about playing the flute is making the head joint make noise. So for this part, we're going to remove the head joint and hold our hand over the edge like I showed you in the beginning. Hold the hole up to your mouth and then roll it down onto your chin and blow across the top of the hole as if you were playing a note on a bottle. I know many of you have done this before. I find quite a great enjoyment of doing it, and I do it anytime I have a bottle that I can play. When you do that, you're going to get a tone. This middle tone is the basic tone that you'll use for any beginning notes. You won't need to blow any harder, you'll just need to blow faster to get a higher note. Notice that I'm not blowing any harder. Harder blowing makes a weird noise. That sounds really airy and gross. In order to get a good tone, you simply blow faster, which means that you shrink your embouchure, or the way that your mouth is framed. But for this exercise, you will only need to use the first tone. If you remember, we place our head joint on the flute in a way that our lip plate lines up with the holes, or with the keys on our flute, which is on the body. Then we set up our fingers, like I showed you earlier. Now, the first note that you're going to learn on any flute is an F. This is the easiest note to play, and it's at the mid-range of a flute player's repertoire. In order to play an F, you're going to keep all of the fingers of your right hand down, or of your left hand down, except for your pinky. So that means that your thumb finger has to be pressing, your first finger, your second finger, and your third finger are all pressing keys down. On your right hand, only the first finger and the pinky are pressing any keys. Let me show you again. On the left hand, we're pressing the thumb finger, the first finger, the second finger, and the third finger. Our pinky is not pressing any buttons. On the right hand, we're pressing the first finger and the pinky key. These two are not pressing any buttons. Stand at a 45-degree angle, like I showed you earlier. Start with the hole on your mouth and roll it down to your chin, and blow a tone like you're going to play on a bottle. That is how you play an F on the flute. If you would like to play a lower note, you can blow slower air. Or, for a higher note, you can blow faster air. All while holding down the same fingers. So, let's go over what we talked about. This is the head joint on the flute. This gold piece is the lip plate. In order to place the lip plate properly, you put the hole in the middle of your mouth and roll it down onto your chin. You line up the lip plate with the body, making sure that the hole in the middle matches with the keys on the body. The middle part with all the keys is called the body of the flute, and the smaller part at the end is called the in joint. Remember that the in joint is only played with one finger, your pinky, so make sure you have a pinky that can move a lot. In order to stand for proper position, you stand at a 45-degree angle. You'll hold the flute up, making sure that your right hand is back and your left hand is in front. You lay your fingers as I showed you, thumb, 1, 2, 3. And for your right hand, we're only going to press the first finger and the pinky finger to play an F. Hold the flute up and blow across the hole like you're going to play a note on a bottle. And that's how you play an F on the flute. Don't get discouraged if this is the first note that you've learned. There's a lot that goes into learning an instrument. But learning one note is the first step, and you've already surpassed all the hardest parts of playing the flute. All you need now are the fingerings and the air, and you're away to play whatever music you please.